Have you ever wondered what it feels like to know your entire future has already been decided for you? Imagine growing up knowing that one day millions of people will look to you for leadership, guidance, and representation. For Princess Leonor, that reality has been present since the day she was born. Yet there was one period in her life that many royal observers consider her most emotional turning point, a moment that transformed her from a young royal into a future queen preparing to embrace her destiny. Today, we're exploring the story behind Princess Leonor's most emotional turning point, the challenges she faced, the responsibilities she accepted, and why this chapter became such an important milestone in her journey. Before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoy stories about royalty, history, and inspiring public figures. Let's get started. Princess Leonor was born on October 31, 2005, as the eldest daughter of King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia. From the very beginning, her life was different from that of most children. While other children dreamed about what they wanted to become when they grew up, Leonor already knew what her future held. As heir to the Spanish throne, she was destined to become queen one day. That responsibility carried enormous expectations. Every step of her education, every public appearance, and every major life decision would contribute to preparing her for that future role. For many years, however, Leonor was largely seen as a young princess growing up under the protection of her family. Although she occasionally attended public events, she remained relatively shielded from the pressures that came with being the future monarch. But as time passed, everything began to change. The first signs of this transformation appeared during her teenage years. As Leonor grew older, the Spanish public became increasingly interested in her development. People wanted to know what kind of queen she might become someday. Royal experts began paying closer attention to her speeches, public appearances, and interactions with others. Every appearance seemed to reveal a little more about her character. Observers noticed her calm demeanor. They noticed her confidence. They noticed her ability to remain composed under pressure. Yet behind the scenes, a much deeper transformation was taking place. Leonor was beginning to understand that the role she had inherited was no longer a distant possibility. It was becoming a reality. One of the most significant moments came when she began taking on larger public responsibilities. Public speaking is challenging for many adults. Imagine standing before national audiences, political leaders, and media organizations while knowing that every word you say will be analyzed. That was the reality Leonor faced. One of her most memorable speeches attracted widespread attention because it demonstrated a maturity beyond her years. Many Spaniards saw a young woman who was gradually stepping into her future role. But for Leonor herself, these moments likely carried a different meaning. They represented a growing awareness of the responsibilities that awaited her. Every speech was more than a speech. Every appearance was more than an appearance. Each event served as preparation for a future unlike that of any ordinary citizen. As the years progressed, the emotional weight of that responsibility became increasingly apparent. Then came what many consider the true turning point. The moment when Leonor's preparation for the throne entered an entirely new phase. That phase was her military training. In Spain, military training has long played an important role in preparing future monarchs. It provides discipline, leadership experience, and a deeper understanding of national service. For Leonor, entering military training was far more than a ceremonial step. It represented a major personal transition. For perhaps the first time, she was leaving behind some of the familiar routines of her previous life and entering an environment built on discipline, structure, and demanding expectations. This wasn't about royal privilege. It was about proving commitment. Military training required effort, perseverance, and determination. Observers across Spain closely followed this chapter of her life. Images of Leonor participating in exercises, attending military ceremonies, and adapting to her new environment quickly attracted attention. Many people viewed these images as symbolic. They saw a future queen actively preparing to serve her country. Yet beneath the symbolism was a young woman experiencing one of the biggest changes of her life. Leaving familiar surroundings is never easy. Adjusting to new challenges can be emotionally demanding. Facing higher expectations while under constant public observation adds another layer of difficulty. For Leonor, this experience marked a profound transition. It was the moment when the responsibilities of the future became tangible. No longer was she simply studying what it meant to be queen someday. She was actively living the process of becoming one. This realization is what makes the period so emotionally significant. Throughout history, many future leaders have experienced moments when preparation becomes reality. Moments when they understand that their future role is no longer an abstract concept. For Leonor, military training appears to have been one of those moments. It represented a bridge between adolescence and adulthood. A bridge between expectation and responsibility. A bridge between being a princess and preparing to become a queen. Another reason this turning point resonated with so many people was its human dimension. Despite her royal status, Leonor was experiencing emotions familiar to countless young adults around the world. The uncertainty that comes with entering a new chapter. The challenge of adapting to unfamiliar circumstances. The pressure of meeting expectations. The desire to succeed. The fear of making mistakes. These experiences are universal. What made Leonor's situation unique was that she faced them under the spotlight of international attention. Every achievement was celebrated publicly. Every challenge was discussed publicly. Every milestone became part of a larger national conversation. Yet throughout it all, Leonor continued demonstrating resilience. Her growing confidence became increasingly visible. Royal commentators frequently noted how comfortable she appeared in public engagements compared to earlier years. There was a noticeable sense of maturity, a stronger presence, a greater sense of purpose. These qualities did not emerge overnight. They developed through experience, through preparation, through challenges, and through emotional growth. Family support also played a critical role during this period. Throughout her journey, Leonor has maintained a close relationship with her parents and her younger sister, Infanta Sofia. Public appearances often reveal a family that values unity and mutual support. As Leonor's responsibilities increased, those family connections likely became even more important. Major life transitions are rarely faced alone. Whether someone is entering university, beginning a career, or preparing for national leadership, support from loved ones can make a tremendous difference. For Leonor, family support provided stability during a period of significant change. As her public role expanded, so did public expectations. People increasingly viewed her not simply as a royal figure but as the future face of the Spanish monarchy. That shift carried both opportunities and challenges. It offered Leonor a chance to connect with the public and define her own leadership style. At the same time, it increased the pressure surrounding every decision and appearance. Balancing those expectations required maturity far beyond her years. Yet many observers believe she handled the transition remarkably well. Her calm approach, thoughtful communication, and dedication to her responsibilities contributed to growing admiration among many Spaniards. Looking back, it's easy to understand why this period is often described as her most emotional turning point. It wasn't defined by controversy. It wasn't driven by scandal. It wasn't the result of a dramatic event. Instead, it was a story of growth. A story of responsibility. A story of accepting a future that had always been waiting. Some turning points happen in an instant. Others unfold gradually over time. Leonor's turning point belongs to the second category. It emerged through a series of experiences that collectively transformed her outlook and public role. Each speech, each responsibility, each challenge, each achievement, together, they shaped a young woman preparing for one of the most important roles in Spain. Today, Princess Leonor continues her journey with increasing confidence and experience. The road ahead remains long, and many chapters of her story have yet to be written. But the emotional turning point that marked her transition into adulthood will likely remain one of the defining moments of her life. It was the chapter when preparation became reality, when expectation became responsibility, when a princess began taking meaningful steps toward becoming a queen. And perhaps that's why the story continues to fascinate so many people. Because at its heart, it isn't simply a royal story. It's a human story, a story about growing up, a story about embracing responsibility, a story about finding strength in moments of change, and a story about stepping forward even when the future feels overwhelming. For Princess Leonor, that emotional turning point helped shape the leader she may one day become. And for millions watching around the world, it offered a glimpse into the remarkable journey of a young woman preparing for her destiny. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more fascinating royal stories and historical insights. Until next time.